and it should be by the consent of the people. If you don't consent to the laws, they have no power over
And
you.
see, that's how things work here in the United States. We are the true free people in the world. So you got to be careful when you listen to English people.
If you can keep it, Roger. If you can keep it.
Again, Roger, you were saying the opposite yesterday in a chat session, and I remind you about the old government by the people, for the people, of the people.
That's exactly what this is about here in the United States. This is how we do it. You see that.
But do you remember what happened after you became free? The King of England came over there and started bloody shooting you guys. And then what happened after that? Civil war with the Freemasons.
Well, let me kind of throw that out the door and tell you how it really took place. Okay, like first, when you go to war with somebody back in those days, you have a declaration. Our Declaration of Independence was given to the King of England. That's just a declaration. That means we're not free yet. Okay, so we in order to become free, we had to fight that war. And after that war was done, that is when we came out with the Articles of Confederation, which failed. And in secrecy and in the dead of the night, freaking all of these elitist Americans came together to create what we now know as the Declaration of Independence. And if it wasn't for a radical by the name of Andrew Jackson, we would have never, as poor people, had the right to frickin' vote here in the United States, because the elitists wanted to keep the voting rights for frickin' people who were landowners and rich, because they felt that if they allowed poor people to frickin' vote, they would be influenced by the money of the rich, and that would sway the voting system.
As you see now with the US elections, with no financial caps on them. But I argue that that would never have happened if it wasn't this one bloke, because we can make arguments that similar sort of things happen in Europe and across the world.
But look at you now. You're still ruled by elitists. You know, they have all the money. They have all the power. They run the politics.
We vote them in. We elect them.
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know. It's a money game over there. You know, you can't really get elected unless you have at least $1 billion behind you.
Yeah, but
we sold the media
unlike the US system, we have got caps on how much can be spent on any one election, and I believe that sticking caps on the expenditure is actually a good thing in the long term.
Mm-hmm. Now, on elections. One thing I do want to mention too that I forgot to mention about tariffs is these tariffs, I believe, are going to be different than what the original classic definition of what tariff is, because they're supposed to be freaking no tax tariffs. That means that freaking no taxes can be applied from the businesses towards like the taxes they get from these tariffs. They won't be pushed onto the consumer. You know what I'm saying? The tax.
No.
The probably would be.
If a company has to pay more, then it has got two options: either reduce resources, so reduce employment, or push the cost onto the consumer.
There's a third one. They need to start buying locally and stop buying all of this freaking garbage.
Yeah, but
overseas.
Yeah. Which goes back to my Apple and Nvidia point.
And I actually see that as a positive thing, because if it forces you guys to freaking set tariffs, then that means you're going to do the same thing in your countries. You're going to start buying locally within your own countries and stop freaking doing this. Oh, it's more important to freaking import our goods rather
That's
than,
not
Well, I think that
that's
is
not
important.
that's not true when you look at things like the net zero thing concept. I mean, um, um, we've
That's
got
that's another just
still.
like globalist agenda
Um,
right there.
we have had an entire argument about is this Scunthorpe steel factory recently, and which is the only steel manufacturing factory in the UK now. And we are buying in steel mainly from China.
isn't that pathetic?
Yeah, and obviously, if there was ever a conflict with China, then that raises issues of
Got you by the balls.
security. Yeah,
You realize that frickin' Ireland, right next to you, has the largest frickin' copper mine in the world.
He
and
wouldn't
funny
know
enough,
because he hates the
only
Irish.
within the last couple of days, there's been since Tony Blair has criticised the UK government for the net zero policies and high prices. There's been questions about starting fracking operations in this country. We are sitting on one of the largest gas um, deposits in Europe.
Yeah. It's amazing when I think of that. And the copper mine that I mentioned, by the way, is closed. They shut it down. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And it's the largest freaking copper mine in the world. It was in use for well over 2,000 years. Okay, and then one day
Yeah.
they decided no, we don't want that no more. So they shut it down.
And they're shutting
that
down
high
electricity production all
profitable,
around the world. And they're
Yeah.
killing
high
all the
profitable.
cows.
So let me go ahead and get to the next topic. This one is about the Justice Department. The Justice Department filed a joint motion with lawyers for President Donald Trump in the appeal in a ruling in a defamation case levied by E. Jean Carroll against him for comments he made back in 2019. Trump was found liable for defamation by a jury in 2024 for comments he made denying Carroll's allegations of sexual abuse. He was in office during his first term as president when he made the remarks. The president now, in his second term, is appealing the decision in the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Second Circuit. In a filing last week, lawyers for both the DOJ and Trump argued that the Justice Department believes the president's comments fall under the Westfall Act, which gives government employees immunity for conduct that falls under the scope of their job. The motion also called for the DOJ to substitute the president's lawyers in the case as the defendant or appellate. Now, substitution is required because once the Attorney General certifies that a defendant is acting within the scope of his office or employment, the United States is the party defendant unless the court, uh, unless and until a court rules that the contrary, to the contrary, the filing said. So that got a little confusing. Now, the filing also included a certificate from Kristen Wilkinson, director of the Torts Branch Civil Division in the Justice Department, that Trump acted within his scope of employment as president when he made the comments in question in 2019. On the basis of the information now available with respect to the claims asserted therein, I find that Donald J. Trump was acting within the scope of his office or employment at the time of the incident out of which the plaintiff claims arose, Wilkinson said in a filing with the court. And then
This is clearly political prosecution, lawfare.
I'm not going to say yes or no on this one.
What I don't get is, how is denying an allegation defamation? Aren't you just defending yourself? Isn't defamation when you accuse someone else of something and it's not true?
Right. Now, Westfall Act claims were initially supported by the DOJ when the case was proceeding through federal district court in July 2023 under then President Joe Biden. The department dropped its support for the claim that Trump was acting under the scope of his job as president. The Justice Department now again under Trump is attempting to renew these claims as the president's appeals lasts. The Justice Department now again under Trump is attempting to renew these claims as the president appeals last year's jury decision. So that's going on.
Can't really comment on that because it's a active appeal and need to see all the evidence.
Now, when it comes to this, it does seem kind of redundant. You know what I mean? I think it is politically motivated, like Mr. Robot says, and this is. I mean, it's like they're coming at them with everything but the kitchen sink, and I'm surprised this is still going because all of this other politically motivated crap got dropped, like all that stuff in Georgia, gone. You know. The only reason why I voted for Donald Trump was for
Georgia.
Here's some more evidence. 220 lawsuits in 100 days. Trump administration faces unprecedented legal blitz. And I remember seeing...
that's not evidence.
Well, it's evidence of political persecution. And I saw a video. I can't remember the guy's name, otherwise I bring it up. But it's this Jewish guy. He's a prominent dude in the US. I can't remember if he's a senator or something like that. But anyway, he before Trump got elected, he was bragging on TV that he already had 100 lawsuits planned against Trump, and it was going to be a way to throw a spanner in the works or take him out or stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there were people coming after him for sure.
But if these lawsuits are not can be proven not to be or to be innocent, or Trump being innocent on these lawsuits, then kill.
Well, the thing is, it's occupies time and resources.
Again, it's just entertainment. As I keep remind people to use the British expression, today's news is most chip paper.
This is the foolish thinking of today's freaking generation, okay? People think that it is entertainment. I mean, like I said, to sue and to be sued is a constitutional right here in the United States. Well, you're seeing government taking place, okay? You don't have to agree with these people. You don't have to disagree with these people, but you have to admit at least freaking constitutional government is being played out. You know what I mean?
But it's also a vulnerability, Roger. No, because if it's meant to be done in good faith. When people abuse the system and sue people for no reason just to
everybody has the right to do it. It doesn't, and this ethical bullshit. Let's take that and fucking just throw it out the window, dude. Oh, I've got to be ethical.